Airports are built to handle just about everything: weather delays, tight schedules, security threats. But there's one thing that can stop everything cold: an earthquake. When we think about earthquakes, we usually picture homes, offices, or highways being damaged. But what happens if it hits a major airport? Thousands of people, huge buildings, control towers, and planes on the move. It's a recipe for chaos if there's no plan in place. Back in 2015, after a massive earthquake hit Nepal, Kathmandu Airport had to quickly become a center for emergency flights and aid. But the damage and confusion made it tough to keep things running. That makes us wonder, what do airports actually do when the ground starts shaking? And more importantly, are they really ready? In this video, we're breaking down how airports prepare for earthquakes, what's worked in the past, and the cool new tech that helps keep people safe. And most importantly, what can you do? If you've ever flown or plan to, you'll want to stick around for this. Airports are like mini cities. They've got roads, buildings, power systems, water lines, all packed into one area. And just like cities, they can be hit hard by earthquakes. Runways can crack, control towers can shake or tilt. Terminals filled with glass walls and high ceilings. Not exactly earthquake-proof. Even a small tremor can shut down flights, delay emergency response, or trap passengers inside. The biggest challenge: airports are always active, planes landing and taking off, people coming and going. There's no such thing as off hours. So when an earthquake hits, there's no time to stop and think. The response has to be automatic. Let's say a quake hits while you're standing in line at security. What happens next? Are there alarms? Does staff know what to do? Are exits safe? Are runways still usable? These are the kinds of questions every airport emergency plan needs to answer before anything happens. Some airports also sit near fault lines, like those in California, Japan, Turkey, and Chile. For them, the risk isn't if, it's when. And because air travel connects the world, damage to even one airport can throw off international flights, cargo deliveries, and disaster relief operations. Bottom line, earthquakes don't just shake the ground. They shake entire systems, and airports are right in the middle of it. Quick break. If you're enjoying the video so far, hit that like button. It really helps us out and gets this content to more people. You might be wondering, don't airports already have a plan for stuff like this? The answer is yes, they have to. In the US, say, for example, the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, requires every commercial airport to have an emergency plan. It's actually written into federal law, something called 14 CFR, CFR 139.325. That rule says airports must be ready for all kinds of emergencies, including natural disasters like earthquakes. These plans have to cover a lot. Who's in charge during an emergency? How they communicate with police, fire, and medical teams, how passengers get evacuated or protected, and how operations get back up and running. Airports also do regular emergency drills to make sure their staff is trained and ready. That could mean practicing evacuations, testing alarms, or even simulating a full-blown earthquake response. International airports follow similar rules from global aviation groups like the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. So whether you're flying out of Los Angeles or Tokyo, there's a system in place behind the scenes. But having a plan on paper isn't enough. What matters is whether it works when the ground is shaking and panic sets in. So what does an actual earthquake emergency plan at an airport look like? Let's break it down into the major pieces. The first priority in any emergency is getting the word out, fast and clearly. Airports use a mix of loudspeaker alerts, radio systems, and text notifications to alert staff and passengers. Behind the scenes, airport leaders jump into an Emergency Operations Center, EOC, to coordinate everything from one place. They also have direct lines to first responders, firefighters, EMTs, police, and even the military if needed. Depending on the damage, people might need to evacuate or stay put. Airports have mapped out evacuation routes, often marked with signs and lighting systems. But if it's safer to stay inside, certain areas are pre-designated as shelter zones, away from glass, large fixtures, or unstable walls. Some newer airports even have safe rooms built right into their terminals. Before any plane can land or take off, runways have to be inspected for cracks, dips, or surface damage. Same goes for fuel systems, baggage conveyors, and control towers. Ground crews use checklists and sometimes drones to spot problems fast. Airports also have first aid stations and triage areas for anyone hurt during the quake. They'll roll out cots, bottled water, and emergency supplies if people are stuck for hours or even days. Staff are trained to assist not just physically, but emotionally too. Think about elderly travelers, kids, or people with disabilities. They need extra help during a chaotic event like this. Finally, none of this works without practice. Staff go through regular earthquake simulations. Airports even team up with local cities to test big disaster responses together. The goal is simple. When the shaking starts, everyone knows what to do and does it fast. Sometimes the best way to understand what works and what doesn't is to look at what's already happened. In April 2015, a powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit Nepal. The capital's Tribhuvan International Airport in Kathmandu suddenly became the country's main link to the outside world. Relief planes needed to land. Injured people needed to be flown out. But the airport wasn't built for that kind of pressure. Cracks appeared in the runway. The terminal was damaged. And with aftershocks still rolling in, airport staff had to manage scared passengers, foreign aid teams, and damaged systems all at once. They pulled it off, but barely. The response showed how critical airports are after disasters and how quickly things can spiral if the infrastructure isn't ready. On the flip side, we've got Sabiha Gökçen International Airport in Istanbul, Turkey. This airport sits near one of the most dangerous fault lines in the world. Instead of just hoping for the best, engineers built the terminal using seismic isolation, a technology that allows the building to move with the quake, not against it. It has over 300 isolation bearings under the building that absorb the shock waves. When a real quake hit the region, the airport stayed fully functional. No shutdowns, no major damage. That's the power of building smart from the start. These case studies prove it. Planning is good, but combining it with strong design makes a huge difference. The future of earthquake safety at airports isn't just about emergency plans. It's about building smarter from the ground up. We mentioned these in the last section, but here's how they really work. Instead of attaching a building directly to the ground, seismic isolators are placed between the foundation and the structure. These flexible pads or bearings allow the building to float slightly when an earthquake hits, absorbing the shock instead of letting it travel up into the walls and ceilings. Airports like Sabiha Gökçen in Turkey and the new international terminal at San Francisco International, SFO, use this tech to reduce damage and stay operational even during strong quakes. Some airports are starting to install earthquake early warning systems, like Shake Alert in California. These systems can detect seismic waves seconds before the shaking hits and automatically trigger alerts or even pause operations. Imagine this. Just a few seconds of warning can ground planes, stop baggage systems, or lock elevators to keep people safe. Modern airport terminals are being built with more flexible materials, reinforced joints, and backup power and water systems. That way, even if one part fails, the whole airport doesn't shut down. Engineers are even using simulations and virtual testing to predict how future airports will respond to major earthquakes before they're even built. Bottom line, airports are becoming smarter, safer, and more resilient, thanks to a mix of tech, design, and experience. Airports have big plans and big tech, but what should you do if an earthquake hits while you're in the terminal? Here's a quick breakdown of what every traveler should know. If the ground starts shaking, don't run. Most injuries happen from falling objects, glass, lights, signs, or even other people. Instead, drop to your hands and knees. Cover your head and neck. Get under a sturdy table or desk if possible. Hold on until the shaking stops. If there's no cover nearby, crouch against an interior wall and protect your head. Follow instructions. Airports will make announcements over loudspeakers and display alerts on screens. Stay calm and listen to staff. They've trained for this. You don't need a full survival kit, but it doesn't hurt to be prepared. In your carry-on, consider keeping a small flashlight, a portable phone charger, a copy of key contacts or travel insurance info, a snack or energy bar, basic first aid items. And always know where the nearest exits are, just in case. Knowing what to do can make all the difference in those first few minutes. Earthquakes can strike without warning. But when they do, airports need to be ready. From high-tech buildings to practiced emergency plans, the aviation world is taking big steps to stay ahead of the risk. And it's not just about protecting planes. It's about protecting people. Travelers, families, workers, and first responders. We've seen how a well-prepared airport can become a lifeline during a crisis, and how a lack of planning can cause chaos. The goal isn't just to survive an earthquake, but to keep things moving, support recovery efforts, and get people where they need to go. As more airports upgrade their systems and design with resilience in mind, the skies are getting a little safer, even when the ground isn't. If you found this eye-opening, give it a like, share it with someone who flies often, and hit subscribe for more behind-the-scenes breakdowns of how global systems keep us safe. Stay informed and travel smart.